r/ask Reddit. What isn't illegal, but really ought to be? Charging a convenience fee for paying electronically. Amen. Or a booking fee for when you have to book yourself. LOL. I love that shit. Thanks for doing our job for us. Now pay us $10 for the pleasure. Thank you for flying Delta. Cable companies drawing up and agreeing to territories so that customers don't have a choice and they don't have to compete. My community signed a sweetheart 99-year agreement like this back in the 80s so they could get a free public access channel. Holy shit. That's bad, man, but it's almost so bad it's funny. Like if the public access channel doesn't have at least 3 regular shows whose sole purpose is to talk shit about the cable company, your community needs to get on that. Read the contract. Stay within the terms of it, and ducking go ham, whichever cable company it is. I'd like to think there's a sending bestiality porn to the CEO via the US Postal Service Funtime Hour show in the works on public access. Obscenely long sweetheart deals are always either or that's awesome or that makes me sick. The Guinness Brewery lease is the former, your town is the latter. Free trials that continue the subscription after the trial ends. Let's go one step further and make free trials that require you give them credit card information illegal as well. If it's free, you don't need my credit card. Download buttons that aren't the download button for the thing you're trying to download, and the next thing you know you have 5 viruses. Clinical trials not being published if the results aren't favorable to whoever funded the study. Or clinical trials being intentionally manipulated to reflect well on whomever funded the study. I think that may be illegal. Child beauty pageants. They are so creepy. How can anyone think parading a child around like that is a good thing? It's not. I went to my little cousin's and have never felt so uncomfortable. For me and for those little girls. Most of the girls looked like they'd rather be anywhere else. It was the moms that were really into it. Children are not dolls. Parents. Playing emergency sirens in your commercial. Or playing car horns in radio ads when I'm trying to drive. Or car honking in radio commercials. Civil asset forfeiture. This is one of the few things I've seen Republicans and Democrats agree needs to stop, and yet very little seems to have been done to prevent it. It's such a blatant violation of the 4th, 5th, and 8th Amendments. The government is making money off it, so they have no incentive to stop it, but acting outraged is great for the campaign trail. As a defense attorney, I second this. It's absurd and horrendous practice, but not enough people know about it. I remember mentioning this in a class wanting important topics for debates or something similar. The professor said it wasn't important enough to be considered. I was floored. Ticketmaster. Here's another convenience fee for making their work easier. I just commented on someone else's about the stupid processing fee Ticketmaster does. I bought a Hall & Oates tickets for my dad, and the tickets alone were $80. After the processing fees they were $130. $500 insulin. These medical companies know that the price of insulin is outrageous, but they are willing to harm people to make a profit. They're barely harming anyone. They're full-blown killing people to make a profit. Edit. Specifically referring to insulin. When you buy a ticket to something online, and the price of the ticket doesn't include all the extra fees they tack on, so what is advertised as a $30 ticket is actually like $50. Ducking Ticketmaster. And also StubHub and basically every other service that sells concert and sports tickets. That shit wouldn't be tolerated in any other industry. Imagine getting something off the dollar menu at McDonald's and then they're like, okay, so with the convenience fee plus service charge plus receipt printing fee that comes to $6.99. You ever try ordering from DoorDash before? Alright. Just the $5 value meal? Excellent. With the $2 delivery fee, the $3.99 convenience fee, and $1 fees and taxes. That'll be $11. How much would you like to tip? The loopholes a nation is jumping through to not be in prison. Can you explain? I haven't really paid attention to anything about Old Onion Boy 4. Ever really. Just knew he was a bit of a lol cow. I remember ages ago one of his exes said they used to drive to states where age of consent was lower so they could duck. Ignition in general, not illegal, but should be. Expensive ambulance rides, hospital stays. You have to pay for ambulances? Yep, here in America they can get higher than $3,000. Lord of mercy. Forcing university students to pay to use facilities that aren't related to education. Those bright ass headlights cars have that temporarily blind you. It is illegal, just never enforced. To have those headlights, your vehicle is supposed to be designed for them with special glass on the headlamps. People are such a-holes. Wonder how many deaths thief caused with those things. The comment, as far as my experience goes, refers to all LED headlights. I'm admittedly aging, 41, but those lights just hurt. I used to be able to assume it was all BMWs and Audis, but now even Hondas have them. Reheating fish in the office microwave. MLM companies. Most of them are just no one gives enough of a shit. Landlords not fixing mold problems and just renting it out to the next unsuspecting family. We had a major bathroom leak happen, more than once, over the course of 4.5 years as a renter, literally raining from the middle of the ceiling onto the second floor. The landlord served notice to terminate our lease because he wanted to sell the house. I'm really hoping that the buyer hired a really good home inspector to find the mold, because I promise you, it is there. Going to jail for having no money. The whole system that charges you for having no money is ducked. Wait, this actually happens? If you are arrested in some places, if broke, you could spend years in jail before trial, for things that often end up in less time if convicted. This is why people plea out. Taxpayer funded stadiums. Honestly, any taxpayer funded thing that essentially gets given to a private corporation for free the moment it's completed. Texting and driving is illegal, but you know what's not illegal? Writing a letter and driving. Where I live it's called distracted driving. It includes texting, reading, talking on the phone, putting on makeup, shaving, even adjusting the radio if the officer really wants. Talking on phones through speaker or blasting music from the phone speakers in public transit. No one wants to hear that shit. While not illegal, at least in Chicago, it is against the transit rules. It doesn't stop people from doing it, but it's a start, I suppose. Yep, I hate people always thinking they should be able to do whatever they want with no consideration for others. Loot boxes in video games marketed towards youth or children. EA would collapse. Touching pregnant women's bellies without asking them for permission first. That shit creepy. When someone did this to my wife, she would grab their boobs. When they pulled away she'd say sorry. Thought we were inappropriately touching people. Rich people buying their way out of rape charges. Rich or famous people being forgiven for rape because of their clout. How about that kid down here in Texas that killed a bunch of people while driving drunk and only got probation? Planned obsolescence. I have a full-bodied stainless steel skill saw of my great uncle's. My guess is that it was made in the 1950s. Still use it all the time. There's a reason people say they don't make them like they used to. It's because those companies went out of business. Only had to sell one to the people who needed them. Junk mail. What a waste of resources. Seriously, last week I got 7 credit card offers in one delivery. That and excessive packaging in general. Looking at Amazon on that one. Taking too many items through the express checkout. My usual supermarket resolved it quite easily. You just can't bring a cart through the express checkout. Not only it's a rule, but it is also physically impossible. I think there would be a test to see if you can use the self-checkout machines. I swear half the people using that are incompetent. Politicians deciding our healthcare while themselves benefiting from government-funded healthcare benefits and often getting cushy lobbying jobs at healthcare companies. Paternity fraud. It's 100% legal to lie about using birth control, to intentionally get pregnant against a partner's started wishes, to knowingly mislead a person about being a child's parent or not, to collect child support fraudulently, on and on. This subject is actually pretty interesting. It seems like laws around reproductive coercion focus on if it causes physical harm, at least in Canada. So the reason you could be charged for stealthing is because it can cause bodily harm, pregnancy or STDs. But if a woman lies about being on the pill, it doesn't actually cause any bodily harm to the man. I definitely think lying about birth control should be illegal. It's ridiculous that it isn't. And it's also pretty hard to prove that someone is lying about that. Not disagreeing with your comment, just offering some insight. Putting down your pets for whatever reason you want, like he barks too loud or he's too hyper. Not putting your unwanted goods back in the correct place in shops and stores. This drives me insane. Someone left Sushi W the checkout line candy the other day. So wasteful and ducking lazy. At the very least, the laziest could have handed it to the cashier so it can go back to the refrigerated section. Conversion therapy on minors or others against their will. Being anti-vax. It is technically child neglect. There are so many answers here and I don't disagree with any that I've read. My only contribution is I think people should have to take a driving test every 10 or 15 years, or after an accident if it was their fault, or too many traffic violations. It may not be popular, but I bet it would get a lot of bad drivers off the road. Speeding up to get next to someone with their turn signal on so they can't get over. Bullying the shit out of your employees. Charging $20,000 for suicide prevention therapy of talking to someone for 2 minutes and getting pills. Charging people suffering from mental health for treatments. Hid headlights. They literally make you blind. I am so good looking it ought to be illegal. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.